So, what has gone on with my RS6? These are some of the nice trophies I got from the last time I had the engine out of the car. We have a snapped valve spring and a bent valve that was dropped into the... You can kind of see a bit. It bent it around here. Thankfully, it did not make contact with the piston or damage the head. This was on cylinder number 3. We also have the collapsed tensioner, which, if you know these, they normally have a big old bolt that goes through them to tension them, or to hold the two together, because otherwise they fire out like a machine gun. This one had collapsed. So, one of them there did a whole top-end rebuild on bank 1. Bank 2, well, unfortunately, it's started up a while ago, made a bunch of tapping noises, and what I think's happened is the reason for this failure was a rocker arm, which, here's a photo. And as you can see, it exploded. I think the tappet failed, it hit the top of the valve, caused a bunch of malice in the combustion palace. And actually, I drove it with a broken rocker arm for quite some time. The issue I've had with the car is it started to develop the similar symptoms to when the first rocker arm went bang. And I don't want to take the engine or the heads off the car again, so we're going to go in and investigate and see what we can see on bank 2, which is cylinders 5 through 8 on the RS6. Airbox is off, just unplugging the core pack as we speak. Going to take this valve cover off. You can see that I have politely labelled these in the past, and hopefully it all is well. I hope. To be fair, one thing I have noticed is this bracket's come undone, so might take these EGT sensors off and quickly plonk that back on properly. I'll have a look if I can see any obvious things, if there's a ground not working or something like that, but so far there's no obvious signs on the outside of the engine. So, you might notice the car is not at the unit. And that's because when I was loosening off the rocker covers and I took the airbox off, I noticed there was a vacuum line and some a ground that had come loose. The bolts holding it on had come off, and I thought, well, if it's just a vacuum line and a ground, that wouldn't make a terribly interesting video. So I put it back on, started the car. The car seemed to idle and behave pretty well. Certainly better than it was, an awful lot better than it was. However, it still has a small stumbly issue. It's still occasionally complaining, well, cylinder 7 misfire on idle. Under load, it's fine. Full boost, it's fine. Which I think is still probably a tappet-related issue, which we will go and diagnose properly. I'll see if I can set up the camera in the car and point at me. Oh, okay, the car doesn't want to be driven. It's logged itself. And I'll try and explain it on the way into the unit. So, we have the engine light, because it likes to miss around idle. It's not doing it quite at the moment. As it heats up, the idle will start to dip a bit. And I don't know if you'll see it, or feel it, but the car will just shake slightly. It's barely noticeable, but sounds alright. I can't complain about it, but you know, I like things being perfect, and this is not being perfect at the moment. Okay, well, my camera kept falling off. So, we're here at the unit. I need to quickly shuffle something around, and I'll try and see if I can get this inside, because it's England, and England likes to rain. Allegedly it's going to be sunny, but we don't believe it. Alright, everything shuffled over. This car is now inside, so we can get back to where we were at the start of the video. So, slowly taking all the trims off. If you remember some of the TDC videos, everything inside the cylinder bay is approximately 1 trillion degrees. You don't want to really hold your hand in there for more than a couple seconds, which is minor problem. Because, 20 minutes of driving, awful lot of heat. We're going to see if I can get this diagnosed, confirm whether it is the tappets on cylinder 7 or not. I did yesterday, swap the coils around and some other stuff, and to be fair, I don't think it's an ignition issue, or if it is an ignition related issue, it's part of the wiring itself. Because coils and plugs, it didn't make a difference. But sometimes this car idles absolutely beautifully, smooth as a button, no lights, no misfires. And funnily enough, it happens whenever I try to plug VAGCOM into it, so maybe just leave it plugged in full time. Valve cover's off, coil packs are off. I have also noticed this ground here is also slightly loose. So I'm finding all the loose grounds today. That could also be giving us that issue, possibly, I don't know. But yeah, this is cylinder 7. We'll get the bore scope, have a look, check on all the tappets. I might have to figure out how to rotate this round because it is currently depressing the intake rocker arms. The exhaust rocker arms aren't depressed by the looks of it, so I should be able to get a half decent view of those. So while the exhaust tappets on this side, it takes so much effort to get this in the right spot to look. So I'm just going to show you one. It's good, you can see a little ring around the bottom of it. It's square on the valve, no deformations, no shredding. However, what I have just noticed, occasionally these cars, if you park them up, they like to rattle and cold start because these are oil filled. They should also have spring pressure. This side had collapsed. This side was good when I tested it, and to be fair, still good right now. However, the shoes were worn. These were allegedly replaced 2,000 miles ago, but previous owner or dealership faked the service history. What I've just noticed, if you look there, the front of the shoe, so that is the bottom of the shoe. Should look like this on that side. It's broken off, which means I've got here perfect timing, I guess. So I guess this is going to be a tensioner job. So we found another issue with the car. So I guess Bank 2 is having its own overhaul as well. I do have the specialist tools to lock the cams up. It's going to be a pain in the ass. I might try and see if I can get my MX-5 out the way first. But I'm not going to run this engine again until we've rectified all the problems. That won't be our main source of the cylinder 7 misfire, but that's just another issue that I've caught. I'm going to see if I can try and get a camera down this side, but it was proving difficult. So, after compression testing it, everything's around 185 or above, except cylinder 7. Cylinder 2 also had a misfire code, but that's also fine on compression, so I need to figure out what is complaining on that end. So, if the tappets were broken and preventing it from opening, it could cause low compression. Alternatively, if they have jammed themselves in the fully extended position, that could prevent it from sealing fully. So hopefully it is the tappets. We've got to replace the tensioner anyway. I'll go and get onto the tappets and get all of that ordered. At least we have diagnosed what's wrong. I'm slowly putting the front of the car into maintenance mode, but it takes a bit of time. And yeah, so hopefully we get all we need, or all the bits will come over the next couple of weeks, hopefully not longer than a month. But this is Audi and Audi Tradition, who don't ship to the UK, so you've got to buy it through other services or your mates who live abroad. So doing some rocker arm tests, which pretty much I'm trying to feel for difference. So you should be able to see, I think it's getting stuck, so you should be able to see a tiny gap. There should be a tiny gap with the lobes fully up, and then you should be able to feel a tiny thousandth of an inch. Literally, it's almost nothing. So I think when these were tapping their heads off on a cold start, they got jammed in the fully extended position, and they're not quite coming all the way off the valve. So some of these, what I can do, like this one, I can feel a tiny bit of movement. I don't want to drop that. I also found the bit of rocker arm. There we are. This is the bit that's broken off. Yeah, not too good. I mean, it was wearing down anyway. I knew I was going to have to replace it in the next few thousand miles, ideally, but, you know, I thought it still had a fair bit of meat left. But hey-ho, live and learn. I don't expect you to see me depressing the rocker arms to have any visual input on the camera. Mainly because it's, you know, as I said earlier, thousandths of an inch. Like, you cannot see it. You can feel it with your fingers. And I can't feel anything. With these lobes fully up, I cannot feel anything on this, which is what has led me to believe that they're not fully down. These ones, which aren't on the rollers at the moment, these ones I can feel a tiny, tiny bit of movement with a bit of pressure. And it's fine. But that one, nothing. Nada. It's lock solid. So that's what I think the low compression is. I mean, I had a similar issue on that bank. You've already seen the photos. But yeah, that's what I'm believing at the moment. Hopefully I'm right. But yeah, we also need to replace this because, I mean, technically you can drive on this. I drove it to the unit. You can see where that rock around bit was sat down there. That little line is where I found it. But it's not ideal, is it? Bumper, off. Engine, coolant, draining. Front, getting into maintenance mode. Angus, big dum-dum. Angus broke this, which is the pipe that goes from here to here. Here's the other bit. Next step, once this is done, is we're going to remove that plenum, or the front, it's not plenum, that's plenum, the front intake tube before the throttle body. And then I can lock the two cams together, which puts the engine in top dead center. Yeah. So as we go ahead and waddle down the workshop, that is our timing tool, pretty much. That goes in a cam gear, that goes in a cam gear. The cam gears spin independently from the camshaft, which is why you have to lock them together, so when you time up the engine you can lock the cams and the crank, and then the belt can sit wherever it wants, and so when you tighten it down, it's all good and tight and correct. Oh, yes, so that is the next steps. However, I spent a few days at this. I'm still filming this. I need to get a video out, so we'll have this as a multi-part series. Mainly because I want to just upload something once a week, which means this might be slightly less interesting, but hey, change of contact. No longer crappy time attack car. Because that is waiting for all the bloody parts. Actually, I'll give you a sneak peek. We're currently fitting the manual brake servo, so that's removed. That's the old one. I'm slowly removing all these compression fittings. But a comp brake twin manual servo kit is coming for this car. Or is being fitted to this car. It has come. It is at home. I need to bring it in. But yes, hope you guys enjoyed the disasters known as my other cars. Yeah, to be fair, I think the only thing that runs and drives properly at the moment is this S2000, because that doesn't have an exhaust manifold on it, because, well, yeah, we're going on a little tangent here. This one, exhaust manifold cracked, so I took the exhaust manifold off, and that's been sent, well, I've taken it to work, and I've just been welding it up, and I need to actually bring it back. This seems to run and drive, doesn't leak, all good. It's a nice car. I need to take it down to get tuned properly because the engine's broken in now, and so I need to retune it with the new head cams and all that other random fun stuff. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe.